she suddenly realized that even though she was only in her 70s, she might end up dying alone. She lives alone in a 200 square meter house. Her only companion is the sound coming from the TV. Every morning when she wakes up, it feels like there's a voice telling her to go back to sleep. There's nothing to do anyway. Today will be no different from yesterday, but she still forces herself to get out of bed. Then she cooks breakfast by herself in the kitchen and eats tasteless food alone at the table. Before heading out, she carefully puts medicated patches on her back. Besides going to the library to kill time, her other go-to place is the community clinic. One day, Mary asked the doctor. She kept feeling like there were people talking to her in her house. Could this be a sign of dementia? The doctor smiled and said, "What's so bad about having someone to talk to?" After leaving the hospital, those people Mary mentioned showed up again. They quietly followed her all the way home. They dressed just like Mary, and everything they said were the same thoughts that ran through Mary's mind all the time. Mary got more and more tired of her lonely, unchanging life. She was desperate to change things, but those people told Mary, "We'll keep you company through the days ahead." Then the three of them magically pulled out instruments and started playing cheerful music. The music echoed in Mary's mind. She started to get lost in the rhythm and dance along. The next day, Mary went to the library to pass the time. As she walked through the empty alley, the other three Marys hid in the corner. The librarian seemed to notice the loneliness on Mary's face. She invited her to join the community dance team, but Mary wasn't interested, so she politely turned her down. Then she picked out an animal encyclopedia. She took notes as she read. Suddenly she noticed a child across from her was giving her a strange look. That's when Mary realized she was sitting in the kids section, but she didn't feel embarrassed at all. Instead, she smiled warmly at the child. That night, while making dinner, the three others kept Mary company, helping her make rice balls, and tried to talk her into joining the dance group. Just then, Mary spotted a cockroach in the corner. When she was young, Mary was terrified of cockroaches, but back then, she had a husband she could rely on. Now she can only rely on herself. Even the three who'd been laughing and chatting with her ran away. Without anyone else's help, Mary suddenly realized how strong she really was. Turns out, cockroaches aren't so scary after all. That night at dinner, Mary suddenly saw her grandma, who had been gone for years, sitting right beside her. Just like when she was little, she pinched the loose skin on her grandma's hand. Her grandma smiled gently and told young Mary, "Everyone ends up like this when they get old." Mary looked down at her own young hands, deep in thought. In a flash, her skin was covered in wrinkles. She had become just like her grandma, but she didn't have the confidence to get through the long, boring years ahead. Mary knew deep down, whether it was the three people or her grandma who suddenly appeared, they were all just her imagination when she was feeling lonely. In the end, she'd still have to face it all alone. One day, after coming home, Mary saw a police officer standing at her door. Turns out, a neighbor complained that her tree branches were hanging over the fence, and it was dangerous for people walking by, so the officer asked her to cut the branches back. When he learned that Mary's children weren't around, the friendly officer offered to do it himself. He trimmed the